Frank Zamboni, his ingenuity gave the sport of ice hockey what is now a familiar and beloved mainstay that is found in rinks all over the world.
Well, my dad was born in Utah, Eureka, Utah, about 60 miles south of Salt Lake. The whole family moved down to Southern California in 1920. They decided to build a ice manufacturing plant that would provide ice to homes.
But the advent and eventual widespread use of home refrigerators threatened the block ice business.
So they said, what can we do with the refrigeration plant? They decided to build an ice skating rink, and it opened in 1940. Once he got into taking care of a rink, he came to the conclusion real fast that it was a difficult job to make a beautiful sheet of ice. It would take 3 or 4 people about an hour and a half to do it.
Just give it a flood. That was all we could do with it. And I finally decided that and started working on something that would do it faster. And that's how it originated.
9 years later, in 1949, the first Zamboni, called the Model A, was introduced to the world.
Sonia Henney, the famous world figure skating champion, was practicing with her ice show troupe at Paramount and saw the original old Model A, and she said, I got to have one of those things. I think the second one really was a big leap was the 1960 Squaw Valley Olympics.
Since then, the name Zamboni has become synonymous with the ice resurfacing machine, as well as a part of hockey history and tradition.
He was always amazed at how associated it became to the game of hockey, to ice, whatever. He would have been surprised and tremendously pleased about being inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Tonight, the late Frank Zamboni rightfully takes his place among the immortals in the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. Accepting on behalf of Frank, please welcome his son, Richard Zamboni.
Hockey fans remember some great names in the history of the game. In the 30s, it was Morenz and Conacher. In the 40s and 50s, the names were Richard and Howe. But in the last 20 years, one name stands out above all others in hockey, even Gretzky. It's a name known in rinks all over the world. Zamboni. The Zamboni ice machine has done more to speed up hockey than Wayne Gretzky and Bobby Orr combined. The Zamboni Company began and still operates in an unlikely place for hockey, the outskirts of Los Angeles. Frank Zamboni's son Richard says the idea grew out of his father's interest in artificial ice, the only kind in Southern California.
Well, it dates back really to the ice manufacturing business that my dad had, and then he needed to do something with it to keep the ice machines running. Decided to build an ice rink in 1939, which he did in Paramount, California. And I can remember myself, from the start, he was interested in getting some means to do the ice better than what they were doing at that time, which was a tractor and a planer and lots of people involved and a lot of time involved.
We had an ice rink, and we made ice there once a day, really. After the session, we'd go out and make a good sheet of ice, otherwise, and that we just give it a flood, and that was all we could do with it. And I finally decided that, and started working on something that would do it faster. And that's how it originated.
They thought that he was kind of on a nutty side, and he just said, well, I'm going to do it one way or the other. And it took him many years, but he finally got one working right. And he built one for himself, and then it really developed into an industry after that. And people originally thought it was rather a luxury for a rink, but just didn't take too long before it became a necessity. The present machine is very closely aligned to the original design that he got that was successful, and it involves a very sharp blade, sharp as a razor, and the blade goes from one side of the machine to the other side of the machine. It has a conveyor that picks up the snow that's created by this blade, and the ice is planed and kept to the thickness desired. That residue snow is put into a snow hopper that is removed from the ice, and behind that we have both a washing operation of getting dirt and debris off the ice that hadn't been removed, follow that with a fresh sheet of water to make a good sheet of ice. Really from the first, when we were building the machines, it was my father's approach that we would put components in that were easily maintained around the country. And, hopefully the machine would be going to other countries, and eventually it did. But to do that and to also make it in a manner and fashion that it was going to last a long time. We didn't have really an idea at that time that some of these machines would still be operating 30 years later, but it's turned out that way. We've always thought that maybe it would be a little bit different if our names were Jones or Smith or some sort like that, but we've, and it really is in more recent years that the name got a little bit more prominence and known for that, and it's a trademark of ours now. We try to keep it closely aligned to our products, which we consider a very valuable commodity, and it really has taken on significance in the field. When your name's on the product, you take a special interest in how it goes out the door, and we really look at it that way, and we try to have the folks in the shop look at it that way too. We're proud of our products.
Richard and his father still visit the original home of the Zamboni, an ice plant just a few blocks from the factory's present site. Behind the plant, Zamboni machine number 1 from 1949 can still be found, awaiting an invitation from the Hockey Hall of Fame.